Good morning. Hope you're enjoying my beautiful background there. Put a lot of effort into that one. This is a difficult video for me to make, but I think it's a necessary one. I want to talk to you about social skills training in children who have a diagnosis, not necessarily just a diagnosis of autism. It could be ADHD, it could be anything really. So what I have in front of me is some assessment paperwork to fill out as a parent to give the practitioners a generalised overview of my child's skills, social skills, and for them to ascertain whether she would be a right fit for the program. Now, I want to make it very clear that I'm not anti-therapy at all. I am pro-support. I am pro-acceptance and working from a strengths-based model, a capacity-building, support-based system or network. I believe first and foremost in surrounding children with mentors and peers who share their qualities and even their challenges. And I believe in actualising a child's potential rather than normalising it. So I'm not going to show the paperwork because I don't want to identify the program. This is a very popular social skills program that's used in many early intervention centres and organisations right across the world. And I'm going to read out just a few of the questions that are asked to judge whether my child is socially appropriate. Now, it's on a scale. Number 1 is never good with a sad face. Number 4 is very good with a happy face. Body language. Eye contact. Never good. Avoids eye contact at all times during conversation or continuously stares. Very good, effective and appropriate use of eye contact in all situations. I want to say to begin with that we're not really given any kind of idea around what is appropriate. We're given a really clear idea of what's not okay, and then you'll notice that number 4, very good, just says effective and appropriate, but there's no real measure of what that looks like. So it's quite vague. Facial expression, never good, inappropriate to situation, may include scowling, grinning, blankness. Or very good, effective use of a range of expressions that changes to suit a situation and expresses moods and feelings. Gestures, never good. Inappropriate hand gestures excessively or no use of hand gestures. Confusion. I must say, I use my hands a lot. The only reason I'm not right now is because I'm holding paper. Very good, uses hand gestures effectively. Distance, never good. Inappropriate distance when communicating, causing discomfort to others. Or very good, appropriate distance according to relationships and social situations. Touch, never good. Excessive use or avoidance, causing embarrassment or anger in others. Or very good, appropriate use, acceptable to others. Fidgeting, excessive fidgeting that is distracting and causes a barrier to communication. Big fidgeter here. Helps me concentrate, helps me hear what's being said. Posture. usually inappropriate to situation, inappropriately rigid, or relaxed. I'm not sure what the in-between of those would look like. Or very good, normal posture, appropriate to all situations. Normal posture. I mean, I don't quite understand that because every human being is so different. I'm not sure how we would have a really clear idea of what normal posture is. Personal appearance. Oh, gosh. Never good. Habitually unkempt. Inappropriate clothing to season or situation. Interesting, I had a conversation with my 13-year-old in the car this morning about how funny it was that even in the summer, her and I both still wear our winter clothing because it makes us feel more comfortable. And we are both deep pressure-seeking autistics, so we like the feeling of a lot of clothing on our bodies because it feels like a bit of a hug. Very good is maintains and adapts appearance to different situations, uses appearance to create different impressions. I'm just a real person. I don't know about you guys. I'm just real. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty transparent, consistent across the board, and I don't use my clothing to give off a certain idea about who I am according to what I'm doing and who I'm with and what's happening. This may be highlighting my autism, but that makes no sense to me. I do not understand that at all. The way we talk, volume. Apparently, I mean, I'm a yeller. You can probably hear now that I talk loud. Rate, too fast, slow, fluctuating. Sometimes I'm really fast because I'm quite an adrenalized thinker. Sometimes I'm way too slow because I have to carefully select my language and my words. Clarity, intonation, fluency, listening, starting a conversation, taking turns, asking questions, answering questions, being relevant, repairing, ending a conversation. I'm not going to go into the rating scale on all of them, but I want to talk about the very last page here. And it's about assertiveness. Expressing feelings, never good. Does not express feelings or needs effectively. Too passive or too aggressive. I wonder why. Standing up for yourself. Does not stand up for self or rights and may appear passive or aggressive, or will stand up for self inappropriately. I feel like a crazy person right now. Making suggestions. Does not make suggestions, may appear passive, easily led, continuously making suggestions, not listening to others. So again, we've got a combination there of one end of that scale and the other end just lumped in the not okay section. Refusing, never good, will always comply with requests or will refuse aggressively. Disagreeing, does not agree with opinions. Does not disagree with opinions and may appear passive or easily influenced. Or will disagree excessively or continuously. I wonder what that looks like. Complaining, does not complain when appropriate. Apologising, does not apologise when appropriate or expected, or may be defensive or aggressive or continuously apologises. Oh, I feel so sad. I feel so sad. And I struggle to accept that any adult would get to the end of this and read this section on children with a diagnosis who has just been assessed and had every single part of their being ripped apart with no actual measure of how they should be, and then we're wondering why they might not feel safe to stand up for themselves, express their feelings, their thoughts, their needs, why they might be afraid to disagree with people. You know, growing up as a little girl on the spectrum, most of the time I was quite agreeable. I had a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions, you know, they come out now. But as a child, I would find myself in situations where I had done the wrong thing and didn't know what it was. I had upset people and I didn't know how. Or people would be upset and I would feel responsible or think it was my fault even when it wasn't. And I still do that now. And that's because we're never really given a clear, concise picture of what appropriate social skills are. So the only way we figure this out is by observing others and adapting, taking bits and pieces of what appears to be socially okay, what appears to be received well by peers, is what we then take on board and develop in ourselves. And I read the structure of a program delivered to 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, where again, every single part of who they are is assessed. And one of the saddest parts about this is on the front page it says, complete the assessment, basically with a bunch of people that know your children. Ask them what they think about all this stuff. Don't just do that though. Involve the child in the process. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And what makes me so gut-wrenchingly sad is that parents like me, when our children are diagnosed, we feel inadequate. We feel like we don't know what we're doing. We don't have the right information. We go seeking it. We want our children to be okay. We want our children to fit in, to not suffer. And we are directed to programs like this by people who are often beautiful human beings, kind, who have wonderful intentions. And this really highlights for me how virus-like, how viral our need for conformity, how deep this sickness runs, where we take children in the first 5 years of their lives when they are different, and we stress so much importance on how they dress, how they stand, how far away from a person they are when they're talking to them, how much eye contact they make, what the expression on their face looks like. And you know, when we think about facial expression, we all know what fear looks like, don't we? Fear, yeah, blank, absolutely blank. We go into this as parents just wanting the best for our children, and this is what we're provided with. I want you to know that if your intuition says that this seems excessive or it's not right for your child, bang on, bang on. Trust in that, please. I never want to tell families what to do. I don't want to judge and criticise the choices that are made. I'm trying to provide an autistic perspective on the impact that these kinds of therapies can have on a child's sense of self. Imagine being a child and having a group of adults take you through a program where they actually address every part of your being and seek to fix and change it and correct it. And then wonder why you don't speak up about your feelings. Goodness, I'm sorry this couldn't be more positive. I went over and over in my head whether I should address this and talk about it, and I will probably attract people who are really unhappy with me for bringing this up. But as a human being, as a parent of autistic children, as an autistic person myself, I have every right to shed light on these things that are actually causing more trauma than they are providing support. There are healthier ways to help our children cope in social environments. Mentors, social groups with other autistic children or other children who share their strengths and challenges. There are so many healthy ways to support our children. This is not healthy. This is a sickness.